Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. I get a pretty frequent question asking about if there's an external way to control the volume of specific pads through Midi CCs, or if there's ways you can group things together or assign them out for like multiple buses so that you can use like a mixer or something. And the short answer is kind of no. You can sort of do this and you sort of can't. The reason being is the SP404 Mark II, even though it arguably has 4 outputs, you really only got 2, which is left and right out of the back here. You do have the Q outputs on the front, but to use those in a meaningful way is pretty complicated, and it's going to carry your left and right outputs as well. So I mean, if you only need 2 channels of output, you can certainly take one of your sounds. Like I got this kick here. I can come into pitch speed and hold shift down and move this all the way to like L50. And anything that I want to go out the left channel, I could just mark as L50. If you got headphones on, you should be able to hear. That's just coming out of the left side. And if I want to go, if I hold shift down and go to R50, then it should be coming out the right side. You can do that. And if you wanted to take a drum kit, for example, or if you had drums and you want to send all your drums to like the left channel and send all of your bass and melody and other components to your right channel, you can absolutely use an external mixer to adjust the value of those volumes with an external device. That's totally not a problem. But that doesn't really get you a whole lot. Also, you still can't really, depending on what you have for your external device, you're not gonna be able to automate that. You could use something like the MPC or like Ableton Live or something and adjust the value of the notes coming in. And like on the MPC, something you could do, I don't know if you can read it here, but it says velocity. You can per track adjust the velocity down. So you could make like some controls here to slide this down to like 1%, which is going to be practically imperceptible. But I still don't really feel like that's a great way to do this. The only other real thing though, on the SP404 Mark II, if you wanted to use like a Midi CC, or like in the case of the MPC, like use one of these Q links, is a kind of silly trick. But like what we could do, if I hold remain down here and just set all these to not go out, and I could then play this pattern. You can see it's playing here. There's a silly thing you can kind of do is you could basically use some effects to adjust the parameter. And what we're looking for is the level parameter. If I just hit remain and send just the kick to the MFX. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 303 vinyl sim. This one actually is a fairly decent one. If you hold down the enter, you can see it says level here. So a couple things are going on. I'm going to hold remain just so it stays on the screen here. If you're going to do this, you want to set compressor to 0, noise to 0, wow to flutter to 0 probably, because you probably aren't going to want to be changing the sound. And then if I hit the enter button to go to the second page, this is the trick, is we're going to use this level value to be able to automate from an external device what that value is. So I've already, we'll check on here. If I hold Q link down and go edit, yeah, I've got this is basically the first effect. So it's on Midi channel 1, and this is the 4th parameter. So we got parameter 1, 2, 3, and then we're on the second page. We just continue counting 4, 5, 6. Parameter 4 is Midi CC 80 on Midi channel 1. So if I get this all set up correctly, which I believe I do, I should be able to just move this knob. You can see I'm turning it down. So I can take this Midi CC, Midi channel 1 and CC 80, and use it to effectively be a fader here. Now let's say I want to do the same thing for the snare here. For whatever reason, what I need to do, I'll hit bus effects, I'll move to bus 2. And I'm looking at the problem with the SP404 Mark II is the effects, at least as far as 3.0, we can try it for 4.0. I haven't tried this actually, just no, but at least in the 3.x version of the firmware, they shared each of, like if you put like the 303 compressor or 303 vinyl sim on two different buses, they shared the same parameters. So that would kind of defeat the purpose of this. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to LoFi, and again, I'm going to hold remain, hit MFX so it stays up. If I, of course, okay, come on, let's stay up. All right, I'm going to go to pre-filter 1, LoFi type 0. I'm going to switch over. I want the balance set to 0 and 100. Cutoff doesn't really matter, but the important part is with these parameters set, I can have a level of 100. Now, I need to make a new track on my MPC, and I need to send to MIDI channel 2, and I need to send to the correct MIDI device. Get that set up. So MIDI channel 2, if I hold Q-Link down and hit Q-Link edit, I don't want this to be, we'll change it to a different one. We'll use the second knob. We want this to be 82 because 82 is what is for the parameter 6. So let's see if we got that. There we go. So with this, I just hold remain because we're on bus 2 and assign that to the snare. You might hear it change the tonality a little bit. Some of these things we just, come on, stay up. This has been something that's been like really annoying to me lately, but it is what it is. So you can see now we can cut the snare out. Oh, whoops, that's not going to do anything. So we can bring the snare out, go back here, and it's a little bit fiddly because I have to be on 2 separate tracks because we're on 2 separate MIDI channels. But hopefully you can hear when I'm on track 18 here, I can bring the bass drum or kick drum in and out. And if I go to track 19, I can bring the snare in and out. So you can come in and assign these however you'd like. And we could certainly add, like, we could add all the hats over here. And then, oops, bring the kicks back in. Where'd we go? Oh, because we're on the wrong bus. Oh, man, I get all wedged up. It looks like, I don't know why it's not. Oh, this is the problem. I also need to go to effect settings. I need to be on type B. There we go. That's why, because they were both there. It was bus 1 going into bus 2. You need to have bus 1 and bus 2 separate in parallel, which is type B. Anyway, with that said, let's just do a quick review and go over this. So what I did is bus 1 is the 303 vinyl sim. And if I bring up the, come on, if I bring up the effects, I've got 0, 0, 0 and level is 100. I can bring that in and out. And if I go to bus 2, I set this to LoFi. And you can see I go 1, 1. I mean, this doesn't matter if it's what it is, but balance 0, 100. I can then use, I'm going to switch tracks, then use the knob to do that. So I can automate this from Ableton or MPC or something else. It's not the best way to do it in my mind, but it does allow you to separate your channels a little bit and kind of merge things in groups. What you think the best way to do this is, I don't know. I personally, I'd probably, if I needed to have this functionality, I'd probably pan left and right myself. But if that requires going into every single one of the samples, whereas you can kind of assign what bus you're going to pretty quick, but you are losing your effects to some extent because now they're having to go through and they're being repurposed to use this level value. Anyway, guys, I will say thanks, I Hug Apples, and everybody else for writing in and asking this question. And everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.